714 WFIE. This is Midday with Mike.
I'm Mike Blake, and welcome to Midday with Mike for this special edition for Friday, April 4th, 2014. Hey, I hope today's going your way. It is great to have you with us. Now, the show today brought to you by Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana. And since April is National Financial Literacy Awareness Month, we're going to show how we can all help JA raise awareness and critical funding to support such terms as work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy education here in our community. In short, we're going to explain just how students can learn how dollars make sense. And I'm delighted to welcome our first guest, the president of Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana, Theo Boots. And joining Theo, the first vice chair of JA, Jim Whitman. Jim and Theo, nice to have you. What's that we've heard about Junior Achievement for years, Theo? What's the mission in 2014?
Well, what we do at Junior Achievement, we go out and recruit business and community leaders, and we train them, and they actually go into the classrooms from kindergarten to high school, and they teach our JA classes on financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship skills. And
you serve, how many students are we talking about, Jim, and roughly how many counties?
11 counties, 23 to 24,000 students. But I want to stop right there and just say that sounds like a gigantic amount of students, and it is, but there's a lot more that need to be served, and that's what we really push to is get this to every student we can.
Now, we're going to be talking, guys, about financial literacy, work readiness, entrepreneurship. Why is financial literacy such a top priority, Theo, with JA?
Well, the kids really don't know what they don't know, and they need these skills for life after school. And so the schools do a great job of teaching the standards, the work rate, or the language arts, and all the standards that they need. But what they're really needing, also in addition to that, is your regular, I guess I call them just life skills that you need. How to balance a checkbook, the difference between credit and debit.
It just, you know. And us big kids, we can learn from these tips as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, Jim, you have taught in your wonderful past life. How valuable was the teaching experience now that you were helping as a wonderful volunteer with JA?
Yeah, you know, you're almost selfish by doing it because you get more out of it. Seeing those kids and seeing how the light bulb goes on, and they're like, yeah, that's why my parents do that. I mean, there's so many things that they see their parents doing, but they don't understand why they're doing it or why they can't have everything they want when they go to the grocery store or whatever the case may be. And they start making those connections, and that's what's so important as they grow up, that they've made those connections.
Theo, because of the social media today, the kids are so tuned in, so sharp. Is the challenge even greater to teach them about financial literacy, work readiness, entrepreneurship?
The challenge actually, I think, is greater because kids are used to communicating differently. I mean, they're used to that cell phone and the texting, and we need different skills in the workplace and communicating with our teammates and our team. And so that's what Junior Achievement is all about, is connecting with the kids and telling them what they're going to need and how to prepare for life after school.
Hey, we got so much more to talk about. Jim Whitman, thank you. He's going to rejoin us a little bit later in the program. When we come back, folks, Theo and I will be joined by Ben Juergens of Old National Bank. We're going to talk about, hey, is there a need for dollars make sense? You bet there is. We'll explain right after this.
Sky Vision HD is sponsored by Old National Insurance. They protect your family and business.
In this segment of our special on Dollars Make Sense, we're going to address the question, is there a need for such a campaign? And once again, delighted to be rejoined by Theo Boots, president of JA, and Ben Juergens joins us. He's a vice president, financial empowerment officer with Old National Bank. Ben, welcome. Let's talk about the need. Is there a need for Dollars Make Sense?
Absolutely, Mike. You know, as we work throughout our communities, we notice the need just grow greater and greater. Our lives become financially complicated, and no matter what career, especially young students may go into, the basic needs of understanding financial education is just growing that much more.
Now, there's been some piloted programs. We're going to talk about those programs. How young are you targeting these kids when you say students?
Oh, we target students of every age. With Junior Achievement, K through 12. So as very young to as we're getting ready to enter the real world, so to speak.
Now, of course, we're going to be passing along some wonderful financial tips. What's one or two tips that we can all, here's one that's we see on the screen, but why are these so important, Theo?
Well, I think parents have a difficult time in knowing how to begin to talk to their kids about financial literacy, and you can do it in everyday moments. For example, when you're getting ready for the first day or when you're getting ready for school and kids might need a backpack. That might be a need, but the want might be they want a more expensive designer backpack. Do they really need that designer backpack, or is this backpack good enough? And so by getting this backpack that might be $15, what can you do with that extra $20 or $25 that you would have spent if you would have got this designer backpack? That's just an example. But if you can use moments like that, and we call them everyday teachable moments, and through your everyday lives, I mean, that's going to help kids. You know, for life after school.
You know, as parents, but as people, there's always opportunities. There's teachable moments. What do you mean by there are teachable moments every day with your kids, huh?
Every day, there's teachable moments. And also, JA also talks to our students about looking at their talents, their skills, and how can they turn their talents and skills into a career for life after school, too. What can you do now to begin to think about what you want to do after school?
No, and here's one about explain credit cards and ATM cards. Hey, we big kids, we need help on that, don't we?
We definitely do, Mike. Like I said, working through the community, we see this a growing need, and having a credit card statement show in the mail, going through it with your children, wonderful way to be able to explain to them how it works.
Before we get away, get much more information. What's the website, Theo?
www.jaswin.org. So it's www.jaswin.org.
Hey, we'll get it to you many more times throughout the show. Ben Juergens, thanks. We'll see you a little bit later. But just ahead, Jim Whitman returns. Theo and Jim are going to talk about why they are doing a campaign and, hey, how does it work exactly? It's interesting how this thing does work. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and as our Dollars Make Sense special continues, we're rejoined, Theo Boots and I are rejoined by Jim Whitman. Jim is first Vice Chair of Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana. I'll ask you, Jim, first. So why do this campaign?
Well, you know, I'm very excited about this campaign because many times you're out raising money for different reasons, and this not only raises money for the kids and lets us get in the classrooms to help them, but it also gives those tips so that the families can start teaching the financial literacy at home. So not only are we raising funds, but we're also doing the teaching right inside the same campaign.
And the earlier you can start it, the better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we talked about Dollars Make Sense. It's a campaign. When did it start? When does it end? And what is it? How does it work, Theo?
Well, it started the last few days of March. We wanted it up by April 1st. It's going to last the entire month of April. So how it works is when you go into a retail, restaurant, or grocery store, convenience store, and we have the list on our website. We have about 25 different businesses, about 115 different locations throughout our 11 counties. And so when you go into there, hopefully somebody will ask you to donate to JA, to buy a JA dollar. It's a little different. You will take the dollar home because on the back of the dollar we'll have tips on how you can begin to talk to your kids about financial literacy, but also a link to our website for more tips, more games, more activities that you can participate. And then we have a poster that you can sign saying that you've supported us that way. So we did it a little bit different than some of the past because it is a fundraising, but it's also an awareness campaign.
And you're targeting stores with a lot of activity, right, Jim?
Yes, absolutely. You know, you want to get it to as many people as possible. And I just follow up on what she said is that it works for us both ways. If they give $1, great. That helps our campaign. But if they don't give $1, the kids might see that and ask their parents why. And again, that's the part of this that's so good because the kids start figuring out. And so we can't get to all the classes, but this may help us spread the word even more.
It's only a few days old, but are you getting any feedback already?
We are getting some good feedback. Yes, we are. And I want to say that 100% of the dollars sold, or the contributions, will go to the program, the J program where that business resides. Because of Old National Bank being our sponsor, they've covered all the costs. So 100% of the proceeds will go to that store.
We listed some wonderful businesses. If somebody's watching and says, hey, can my business join?
They still could join. Absolutely. Give us a call.
And order with the website, right?
Yes.
Hey, Jim Whitman again, thanks. Theo, thank you. And coming up in our next segment, Ben Juergens returns. Again, he's from ONB, and he's going to give us his perspective, not only his, but the bank. Why is Old National Bank taking part in Dollars Make Sense? That's coming up right after this. You're watching a special edition of Midday with Mike today, brought to you by Junior Achievement of Southwest Indiana, and it's all about JA's Dollars Make Sense campaign. And now for a personal as well as his company, the bank's perspective on financial literacy. Once again, we're joined by Ben Juergens from Old National Bank. Ben, let's talk about what's Old National Bank's take on Dollars Make Sense? Why get involved?
Well, you know, part of our job, Mike, is to work throughout our community and look for those organizations that drive us strong. And in my mind, and the education piece is very important to us. So we saw Dollars Make Sense as a perfect fit to us to help partner together to deliver financial education and make a difference.
Now, you're what's called a financial empowerment officer. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, usually people say, what is financial empowerment? You know, we at Old National, it is our bank's commitment to give the tools and the education to help people of all ages, from young to old, be able to succeed in life from a financial education side. Now,
I know, and not only with the JA, but Old National Bank, you're proud of establishing partnerships. How do you develop partnerships with regard to Dollars Make Sense?
Absolutely. Part of our job is to work through our communities and know our communities, and by doing so, we uncover opportunities where we see the need, where financial education can fit perfectly in that. You'll meet or talk with Stephanie Rowland here coming up, who we work together to develop those partnerships, and they'll come in with our folks. We have a lot of folks at the bank that volunteer time and effort where we can use those resources to help empower our young individuals.
You mentioned where ONB is a great fit for this. What are some community organizations, schools, businesses, and you say, you know what, you need to be doing this?
Absolutely. You know, through our Old National Bank Foundation, we partner together to find those organizations, all schools, nonprofit organizations, United Way, etc. Through those partnerships, we can find these opportunities to make sure we deliver the education.
You're a young guy, I know, a very savvy, technically savvy fella. Does it amaze you how tuned in young kiddos are today? Because they're living
on the phone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. We find the tools, you know, from mobile banking to ways that we can drive to, because, you know, if we're doing things that may attract to us, it may not attract to the youth and whatnot. So we definitely look for those opportunities to how we can reach them the best.
Is it fair to say, too, in addition to educating kids, getting them, we're educating some parents and grandparents?
Definitely. We work with people of all ages, Mike, from the senior citizens to the very young, as young as preschool. The need for education fits of all ages, and it's something that we don't necessarily learn from a curriculum in school, so we have to use our resources, and we're happy to do so from the bank's volunteer standpoint to provide those resources to drive education through our footprint.
People want to learn more, Ben, about Dollars Make Sense. Where do you direct them?
Yeah, I would direct them to www.jaswin.org, where we provide a wealth of information from not only our site at Old National, but Junior Achievements and some other websites as well. There's an abundance of resources out there, and jaswin.org is a great place to start.
Ben's going to be coming back shortly with his good buddy, Stephanie Rowland. They'll be giving us more expertise. Ben, thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
But just ahead, an outstanding teacher and student, both from Gibson Southern High School, tell us what impact JA has had on their lives. You're watching Midday with Mike, and we're back in just a moment. Show you're watching, it's all about Junior Achievement's Dollars Make Sense campaign, and delighted to welcome right now, joining us from Gibson Southern High School teacher on my far left, Kathy Hughes, and joining Kathy, Gibson Southern freshman student Olivia Baker. Ladies, nice to have you.
Nice.
Kathy, I'll start with you. In a way, Gibson Southern's kind of a pioneer in this program, financial literacy. How so?
Well, JA came and approached me, and we thought it would be a great partnership, and it has. It's been one of the best classes that I've been a part of.
What excites you about it from a teaching standpoint?
What excites me is that it's real world. The JA volunteers come in, and not only do they give good examples of what you need to do for a successful career or success in finances, the best part is where the kids really they give their negative things that have happened and how they've problem solved.
So you're getting really good feedback.
Very.
You've taken, of course, it's called JA Career Success. What do you think about it?
I think it's really interesting. You don't know what to expect going into it because we've never had a class like this before. But you learn a lot. You learn a lot about communication, and without communication, business wouldn't be able to happen. And you really learn how to apply yourself to the actual world.
Were you somewhat surprised by the curriculum?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought it just would be kind of random little things about how to interview, but you actually learned a lot about different parts of the actual business world and how to apply yourself more than just like at school.
Is it a fun course to, after, a lot of times if you're talking about it afterwards, I would think that's a good thing, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And
you learn a lot and you can use it, so it's good.
From yours, what do you hope is the impact, Kathy, as a teacher and looking ahead? Obviously, you're sold on it. How do you see this thing growing and becoming even better?
Well, the students come in and they have no idea what career path they would like to go into. You ask them, they say, no, I don't know what I want to be. By the end of the class, they are prepared for the college, or they're prepared financially on what they would like to be in the future. And that's a potent thing.
I think most freshmen will admit, I know when I was a freshman in high school, I didn't have a clue what I really wanted to do. Has this triggered something, hey, you know what, I may want to do this?
It really opened up a lot of doors for me to learn about different careers I could go into, and it really helped me narrow down what I do want to do when I get older. I think it did a lot of different students.
Hey, well, we wish you the best. Sorry we got you out of school, Olivia.
Oh, it's okay.
I know it's tough. Hey, thank you very much
Thank
for your expertise. Kathy, thank you. And when Midday comes back, Kathy Hughes is going to be rejoined by Theo Boots, and they're going to talk about the need for what's called work readiness education. You're watching a special Dollars Make Sense on Midday with Mike, and we're back in just a moment. It's called Work Readiness Education, but what exactly is it? And is JA of Southwest Indiana developing such a program? Well, to answer such questions, delighted to once again be rejoined by Theo Boots, President of Junior Achievement. Kathy Hughes rejoining us. She's a Gibson Southern High School business and marketing teacher. Ladies, okay, so first of all, Kathy, let me ask you, what's the need for work readiness? How do you define it?
Well, the need is the students now communicate totally different than we did when we were in school. So, because the students are totally digital, totally online, what we do is teach them a term called soft skills, which is responsibility, teamwork, integrity, being to school on time, being to work on time, telling the truth, how important that is. And this class partnered with JA, we provide that opportunity. They hear it from me, they hear it from the parents, they hear it from their grandparents, they hear it from their friends, but then when we have JA come in and give more real world experience, it's excellent.
Last time you talked about a program that you piloted at Gibson Summit, but last year, Theo, EVSC, the Evansville-Vanderburgh School Corporation, they had a pilot. Tell us about that.
At the time, Jay's class was just focused on the work readiness skills, so we piloted that. It was very successful in the high schools. This year, the classes combined, though, is work readiness and career exploration. So the combination of the two is very powerful. And also, many of our students are also getting financial literacy class. So that's what we're trying to do. We want to hit the kids often with a combination of financial literacy and work and career readiness classes.
And there is a definite correlation, right?
Absolutely. You must have it they go hand in hand. They need to be prepared on both sides.
Can we adults benefit from such an approach?
Well, absolutely. I think some adults, when I tell them that we teach the kids that many companies are doing credit checks, they're doing driving checks before you get hired, I think kids absolutely have no idea of that, and I'm sure some adults don't realize that they're doing those kind of checks. So what you do as a young kid can affect you for the rest of your life.
Oh, absolutely. We had a previous, in this segment, we saw a video of Dr. Bennett, right? Linda Bennett from USI. From a teaching standpoint, boy, how neat is that to bring in experts in a different area?
It's exciting. It's exciting for me. It's exciting for the kids. The best part is to see them grow. And
talk about, too, do you need, are there more classes? Do you need volunteers?
We do. And several of our counties are still needing volunteers. Vanderburgh has about 4 or 5 schools. We're still looking for volunteers. I think we need some volunteers in Gibson and Warwick and Spencer. I think are especially in need of volunteers. We will serve over 1,000 classes with 700 being in the spring.
Oh my God.
So we have another week or two to get the classes started. And so we probably need about altogether 30 or 40 more volunteers in about 4 different counties. So we'd love for you to give us a call to learn more.
Ladies, thank you. Theo, we'll see you a little bit later. Blessed be the teachers. Kathy Hughes, go back to school, young lady. Thanks for coming in and thanks for joining us. Just ahead, Ben Juergens from Old National Bank hooks up with his good friend Stephanie Rowland. She's a vice president, Southern Community Outreach Officer with ONB, and they're going to talk about developing key community partnerships in the Dollars Make Sense campaign. Stay with us. We're coming right back. If you ask people at Old National Bank, they think of themselves as a team. And joining us now, 2 outstanding members of the ONB team. First of all, first Vice President of Southern Community Outreach Officer, Stephanie Rowland. And joining Stephanie and rejoining us again is Ben Juergens, Vice President, Financial Empowerment Officer with ONB. First, Stephanie, welcome. How do you define, we think of outreach in other ways. Talk about the importance, the scope of outreach department at Old National Bank.
Sure. Our outreach area, essentially what we do is community engagement. We work with a lot of nonprofit organizations in the community to find out what the needs are, and then we take that information back to the bank and figure out how can we utilize our products, our services, our employees to help address those needs. We also work very closely with our foundation, and that's kind of very similar to how we've developed the JA partnership.
And Ben, you as a financial empowerment officer, you work very closely with Stephanie and that department, right?
Absolutely. Not only do we sit side by side at the bank, but we're out in the community together as well. So as Stephanie may find a need and says, Ben, they need a big need for financial education, we'll find the resources to go and deliver that education. So we definitely work hand in hand.
As we know, ONB has a wonderful reputation. You touch a lot of lives. What are some things that may surprise some of our viewers, some outreaches that, oh my gosh, I didn't know you worked with them?
Sure. One thing that we've determined, obviously, is the need for financial education. We have a really wonderful partnership with, say, for example, Hope of Evansville, where we're providing down payment assistance for low to moderate income homeowners. I'm not sure if everybody is aware of that, but we refer our clients over to Hope to receive home ownership education, tying into Ben's role with financial literacy, and that's really become a nice relationship for us to get folks prepared, provide them with funding for down payment assistance, and then provide them with a mortgage at the end of it.
Now, as you go out into the community, what's been the feedback, and are they pleased and say, hey, thanks for coming, tell me more?
Sure. We feel like we've really created a niche within our organization, and this is coming from Bob Jones, our president and CEO. He's really driving us to know what the needs are and then figure out how we can address those. And financial education with Ben's role has been a huge win for us. We have so many organizations that are asking for our service, so that gives us an opportunity to deploy some of our volunteers as financial trainers and coaches using Ben's expertise.
Now, not that you need more work, but if people watching right now and say, hey, I want to learn more about Dollars Make Sense through your outreach, through the financial empowerment, what can they do?
Yeah, they can contact Junior Achievement directly or Old National Bank directly, and we can work together to make sure that we meet that need.
Hey, guys, great information, and of course, we'll give you more before the end of the show. Stephanie Rowland, Stephanie, thanks for being with us. And Ben, you'll be back in a moment as we wrap things up. And for our next segment, Ben and I and Theo will talk about what this midday special called Dollars Make Sense has been all about. Some final thoughts, some final tips right after this. As we wrap up this program, once again, Theo Boots, the president of Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana, and Financial Empowerment Officer Ben Juergens from Old National Bank. Okay, so to recap, why the partnership with Old National Bank?
Well, we wanted a business to help us fund all the costs of this program, so 100% of the dollars that we sell could go directly into the counties where JA operates. And we looked at Old National Bank because, first of all, they're already one of our top, if not our #1 supporters for our organization, and they are in almost all of our counties that we serve. We're in 11 counties. So it was almost a natural partnership. They were the first person I went to. I didn't have to go anyplace else because they said, yes, this is important to us too, and we want to be involved.
And as you said early, it's a good fit for you. Why?
Absolutely. With us and the foundation, we get a lot of requests for the Foundation for Financial Education because it is so important. So with our drive to push financial education, Junior Achievement just made perfect sense.
Now, in addition to ONB on board, you've got a lot of wonderful businesses. the importance of that. And we're going to show a few more. Here, and it's a wide range of businesses. That's by design, isn't it, Theo?
It is. We were looking for businesses that would have high traffic areas, that individuals would be coming in and going in. So, and these are many businesses that really haven't been, some of them are already supporters, but some of them are finding out about us for the very first time. And because of this partnership, some of them participated in our Job Shadow program and hosted kids. So it's really just been a win-win for us.
Something, too, there's probably some people who say, hey, I want our school to have certain classes. Okay, how can schools enroll or get on the list for JA classes?
Well, they would contact Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana. We would talk to them and see what we need to do for JA. We need volunteers, we need financial support, and then we need the request from the schools. We really haven't had a lot of problem with school demand, but we want to hear from you. If we're not in a particular school and that you would like us in your school, we will do what we can to make sure JA is provided in your school.
Ben, a final thought. Does it excite you what's coming? The best is yet to come?
Oh, absolutely. This is just the beginning. And I see this partnership developing even more. So very, very excited, Mike. Absolutely.
Hey, Ben Juergens and Theo Boots. Folks, we've enjoyed presenting this program. Thank you for your expertise. And as you said, I think the best is yet to come. And thanks for talking about dollars make sense. And folks, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember, more news and weather comes your way. Jackie Monroe, Brian Bozen will be here for 14 News at 4. David James and Ann Comas tee off at 14 News at 5 and again at 6. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being with us. I'll see you again next week, Monday on Midday with Mike.